Next up at UFC Vegas 78, we have Cub Swanson taking on Hakeem Dawodu. Cub Swanson 28 and 13. 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that loss to Jonathan Martinez. He's taking on Hakeem Dawodu, 13-3 overall. 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off the loss to Julian Erosa. Cub Swanson, we should all know who he is by now. This guy has been around for 20-something years. He's going to come forward. He's a fun, creative, technical-ish striker. He's insanely tough, and he's going to work in takedowns. This guy has been around for 100 years, training at Jackson Wing forever. He's good at all the things. He's insanely tough. He has no quit in him whatsoever, but he is old. He is old. He's starting to fade out, and that's just what happens, right? He's been fighting for 20-something. 20-something, and I'm not... Yeah, no shit. All professional athletes are or should be younger than me. Every single one of them.
Don't have to get so defensive about it.
It's a weird statement to make, Jacob. Okay. Tried and true vet, super insanely tough, but he is coming off of that TKO loss to Jonathan Martinez where it was evident how tough he was, right? His legs took an absolute beating, but he still worked in a takedown. He still showed that he's got some other tricks up his sleeve, and he's not just going to hang out striking. He's taking on Hakeem Dawodu. Hakeem Dawodu is a high-level striker. He throws everything with power. He sets a nice pressure and pace. He manages to have excellent counter punches while marching forward. He will walk forward. He's going to throw leg kicks. He's going to throw straights. He's going to fire back. He dips his head, and then he just throws again. He's incredibly technical. He does have real power, but he's coming off that loss to Julian Erosa where he was taken down twice, and he gave up almost a full round of control time. Hakeem Dawodu should win this fight. He should be younger, faster, hit harder. That should be all the things. But Cub Swanson still has those tools. He still has those tools. He can still work in some takedowns, still sneak something out, still try to make something happen. And Cub Swanson could win this fight the exact same way Julian Erosa just did. And we've seen Julian Erosa get folded a few times. So it's not as if, Julian Erosa is this iron chin beast that withstood the Hakeem Dawodu storm. So I do think Hakeem wins this fight. I'm not betting. I'm not touching this line because Cub Swanson's the exact type of old, tough veteran that'll just work in some takedowns and sneak out a close win. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, let me start off by saying that I am biased when it comes to this fight because everyone knows my love for Ryan Hall and the Manly Hebos and all these different fighters, but it really was Cub Swanson was my day one. Everyone's got their favorite fighter, their first fighter, the fighter that really jumped out, that made them really love the UFC. One of the first fights I ever watched was one of Cub Swanson fights, and I just fell in love with this dude. I mean, he is just so much fun. He's so tough, and he's just willing to put himself out there to win fights and to be entertaining. And I just always had this special place in my heart for Cub Swanson. And with that said, I think that this is a winnable fight for him. I don't think that he's going to. My pick is going to be Hakeem, but he can win this fight. Hakeem came in against Julian Erosa. I don't even know how he's going to make weight. I mean, he missed weight by 4 or 5 pounds against Julian Erosa, and even with that extra weight, he was dropped, I think, 2 or 3 times in the first round of that fight, almost put out completely. I mean, that was a bad first round. He was able to come back, work through it, and you see when he is good, he is very good. I mean, he is a high-level striker. When he is throwing combinations and he is looking good in the pocket, he is a fantastic... when he looks good, he looks like he can be champion-level good. I mean, that's how good this guy's striking is. But, I mean, now, is he going to make featherweight? And if he was already getting chinned with that extra 4 or 5 pounds, what's he going to look like all the way down at 146 coming into this fight? The issue is, and the reason why I even put money on Hakeem, and it's one of those bets that I would love to lose that bet because I would love for Cub Swanson to win this fight, is I just feel like Cub has lost that pop. That speed, that extra edge. And I think there's moments where he can kind of turn that on, but the one shot turning it on with the one powerful shot, you saw that against Jonathan Martinez. He came in the second round and said, I need to pick up the intensity. My leg's fucked. I need to lay on a power shot and try to get this guy out of here. And it was at 135, so it's a little bit different, but he just doesn't seem to have that same explosion, that same power in his hands. And without that, I don't see him kind of wearing down and beating a guy like Hakeem. You mentioned the wrestling, and maybe this is the fight. I'm 39 years old. I do have, and he mentioned going into that Jonathan Martinez fight that he wanted to show off. I'm a black belt. I'm a high-level black belt. I want to show off my grappling. If he brings that in, maybe that's a path for him. But Hakeem's such a high-level guy that, unfortunately, I got to pick Hakeem. I put money on Hakeem. But I think this is a winnable fight for Cub. It's such a Hail Mary play. I feel bad. Cub's always going to be my dude. I hope I lose that bet. I'm going to be rooting for him on Saturday. But I just don't think he has it anymore, man. It's always going to be tough, though.
Yeah, I mean, the takedowns are why I'm like, it's possible. We just saw Julian Erosa do it. And Julian Erosa, we've also seen get knocked out recently. So meaning, a chinny-ish kind of guy just squeaked out a win against Hakeem. But Hakeem's fast, jacked, hits hard. And as you mentioned, Cub Swanson sort of losing a beat, and that's not a jab. That's life, man. I'm just a little slower today than I was yesterday. You know what I mean?
I keep getting better. It's crazy for me, though.
Yeah, no, you definitely.
I definitely get a lot better looking, bigger, thicker, girthier.
The whole thing.
Not hairy, though. I keep it trimmed.
All right. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member, unlock all the things, including the DraftKings analysis, which I haven't read yet. I don't write it. We have somebody that writes it. I don't know where they landed on this fight. Frankly, if you think Dawodu is going to get the finish, get the knockout, going to touch up Cub Swanson, then get it done, he's probably worth the $9,000 because Cub is the exact kind of tough guy that can let it go a little longer and let you get your volume up. But Dawodu might also be a fade here because without the takedowns, you're really relying on a knockout, and that may not come. Cub Swanson was TKO'd in his last fight because his leg.
Well,
not because he was one punch knocked out.
He was dropped in the first and nearly finished. I mean, he was chinned in the first, but again, that was at finished. 135. Yeah, yes. But that was, I think the bell saved. I'm trying to remember. I think the round might have saved him there.
Yeah, but even when when what's his name finished him, similar type thing.
Giga, liver kick. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, exactly. But meaning, yes, there's 2 finishes recently, but he's not just bang, no chin. You can't say he's got no chin. But
he was chin last fight,
and he stood up. He was still there, moving forward, shooting takedowns, which he got. It'll be interesting. I'm probably not going to touch it with DraftKings, but I get it. If you're on the Dawodu side, I get it. You're betting against a 39-year-old man.